Jujutsu Infinite from Awesome Ninja Games has finally released to massive success after years of waiting, and today I will be discussing why it became the best JJK game on Roblox despite its wasted potential. Exhibit A, the early game of Jujutsu Infinite. Now this is where honestly Jujutsu Infinite shows its best part, which is literally the tutorial of the game. It involves a fight between Gojo and Sukuna, as you are basically helpless and constantly calling your sensei for help in the process. But basically this is here to teach you the basic mechanics of Jujutsu Infinite. I'm not gonna lie, the animation is some gas and is unlike anything I've seen on Roblox this far. The quality really does make it seem like this is about to be the best game of all time as the battle plays out in front of you, and had the game kept this level of quality, we could have truly been in for a treat. But then this intro cinematic basically ends with you, Gojo, beating Sukuna with the infamous hollow nuke and opening up your domain and going into a clash. And as we know, Geto stops all of that and helps open the merger using the domain energy from the clash, and arguably one of, if not the greatest representation I've seen on Roblox for an anime. So much so that Gege might genuinely think about suing Awesome Ninja Games for every bit of that million they made from the $30 Discord tester purchases. Because it seems like the entire budget basically went into this, which makes even more sense as you are teleported into the world and you are eventually snapped back into reality and hit with the unfortunate spin screen, which plagues damn near every single Roblox anime game. And trust me, you want either a decent legendary or a special grade, because everything under that is pretty much unusable in this semi pay to win game, which kind of sucks since some of the coolest abilities like Boogie Woogie or Straw Doll Technique are just outclassed immediately. But greed over variety, I guess. The spin itself is slow as hell, and that is just the method to get you to buy the skip spin game pass, which I did buy. Man. What? Can you blame me, dog? Look at this. Then after you escape the spin system hell, you are met with some more tutorials that do actually teach you a lot about the game. So finally you don't have to visit that godforsaken Trello that every anime game relies on, talking to you at Universal Time. But as we know already, you gotta spend some more to get that special grade dopamine. After that, you are introduced to arguably the worst Jujutsu sorcerer group, who can never send you help on any of your missions because they're all dead or something. But you're tasked with basically beating up some rogue sorcerers with your new innate abilities you totally didn't spend various minutes rolling for and looking up tier list videos for, right? But after you destroy their souls for the sake of humanity or whatever, you gain probably the most levels you'll ever gain in this entire game. The chest then give you a whole bunch of items you can't even use, so you feel the need to grind for it because they're all level locked. Let's go. Speaking of grind, let's move on to the progression system.
Like, I hate wasted potential.
Exhibit B, the wasted potential of Jujutsu Infinite. A lot of people compare Jujutsu Infinite's progression to Blox Fruits, but I'll say it closely resembles a Shindo Life a little more than Blox Fruits, although certain pieces of the game definitely do remind me of Blox Fruits. Does JJI beat the Bandit Beater allegations? Well, kinda. The game isn't super low effort like most Bandit Beaters, it's just a lot of options for progression are so boring and pointless that people just stick to the same defeat curse missions because they're quick to do. You can do Capture the Point, which was unfortunately nerfed into the ground when it comes to XP, so it's basically useless and boring. Speaking of XP across the board, you level up slower than on release, making 2 times XP a necessity to have on because the game is practically unplayable without it after the shadow patch. Also, you could just stand in the middle and not kill any curses and win, which is just hilariously stupid. You also have my favorite mission, which unfortunately was ruined on release, which is a kill a curse user mission, which just involves you fighting an AI curse user, but they intentionally ruin the AI, so now they barely fight back, and when they do catch you, they just drop their whole combo immediately or just jump in the air randomly for some odd reason. But back during testing, these fights were actually engaging, but I assume the devs took this out because they thought everyone playing this game would just be brain dead. Another mission is the Exercise Register Spirit mission, which is like a mini boss you fight that really just stands there unless you spam moves on the HP until they die. Yeah, this game is cooked. But this takes longer than the classic defeat curses, so this kinda is non-viable for XP grinding. The common thing that most people do is just the basic defeat curses or curse users, because the other ones have just been shadow nerfed and therefore aren't worth doing, which makes the mission board stuff even more repetitive than it already is. But these missions, after you do a few of them, reward you with a chest, which either give you different boosters for luck XP or clothes, which at the beginning are questionable. Oh, I look straight out of the Matrix. This drip is not it, bro. But the main thing that sort of separates JJI from another basic bandit beating game is the story mode. The reason I put it in quotes is because we both know we ain't reading all that uninteresting text that be popping up on the side, and also the story is pretty incohesive. It's just straight disappointing Mr. Akutami. But it's not like it's impossible to write a good story on Roblox, because Arcane Odyssey did just that. But basically the story usually is every 30 levels or so. It has you beating up curse users, or beating up curses, or doing an investigation, or beating a boss that's harassing the towns around the map, and rinse and repeat. Now this would be awesome if you weren't doing this exact same thing for about 95% of your time progressing through this game. So it makes the story feel less special as you level up and unlock the ability to do these missions, which was very disappointing. Also, it would have been cool if there was little cutscenes with similar quality to the tutorial section cutscenes that are like no more than a few seconds. They don't gotta be that long for each mission, to just spice it up a little bit more and make the game feel a little bit more immersive. There is a few unique objectives in the story, like stopping a town from getting destroyed by a tsunami or stopping a meteor from hitting Earth, which was pretty cool. But sadly, overall, the best part of the story is honestly the amount of XP it gets per mission, bro, because that'd be a blessing. The map has these towns, but for the most part, it's like a barren wasteland with barely textured scenery. I mean, it looks like Mad Max, bro. I get maybe this was done for optimization, but this is just ridiculous for how much of a budget this game had, which was essentially over 7 figures. Now, there's these daily missions and one-time missions that do populate the different towns you go to. This includes boring stuff like picking up a box and moving it to a random part of the map. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Or my personal favorite,
committing war crimes against children. Die, little kids!
This is the darkest mission in the game. Why are we just... It says beat up bullies, but we're literally just killing little kids, bro. What has this game turned into? What? Bro, what type of sick quest was that? And another one of my favorites, defeating a gnome who somehow got judge ban innate abilities, which was really funny. Whoa, the gnome has domain? What is this? Nah, this is the best boss fight in the game. Wait, we're playing rock, paper, scissors? Then the gnome just randomly stopped moving because the AI in this game is cheek, so it kind of ruined this boss fight, I'm not gonna lie. GG's, gnome. But basically, beyond just the mission board, you do these investigation raid missions, which involve you picking up these items around the map at the beginning, or saving some people and bringing them to a gate. You fight a few curse users, of course, and a few spirit bosses at the end. Speaking of difficulty, basically every single one of them are easy mode, except for like nightmare difficulty, which can almost kill you if you aren't careful. Now, the next thing you usually do are the bosses themselves, which can do some bodily harm. Bro, look at our arms. It's but a scratch. And I have defeated about 4 of them thus far, and majority of them are either underwhelming to fight, like the Ocean Curse and the Finger Bearer, or waste your time like the Mahito fight, which is really underwhelming. But the Volcano Curse boss fight was actually peak and absolutely chaotic. Oh my god. Wait, this boss is actually tough. Whoa! Wait, this boss is actually tough! And proud you're strong. What is he about to do? Oh, domain. Nah, his domain is one of the coolest in the show. I don't care what nobody says. He has one of the coolest domains. Yo. Oh, he's going crazy. Okay. Boom. Oh, meteor. Wait, come on. Bro, I can't destroy it. Am I actually gonna lose? No way. We don't lose those. Let's go. But basically, as you defeat these bosses, you get their specific item drop, which you can use to craft different armor sets out of them. And you will be doing this by default, since boss farming is like one of the only viable ways to grind in this game at some point. And this, as you can assume, can get very boring fighting the same bosses over and over, trying to reach max level as you damn near fall asleep. This is all you hear while your team spams your moves on a boss, by the way. Thank God for the buff command, which can make this go a little quicker. But of course, while I'm farming these bosses, a freaky sorcerer shows up, just of course. But overall, the progression of Jujutsu Infinite could have been a lot better had the developers at least tried to add different missions to the mission board as you reach the different level thresholds, and if the story was just a little more diversified from the general loop of the game. The PvP is bar none the best part of the game for me. It's unfortunately stun based, and the domain expansions are a part of that PvP system. Despite how unbalanced they are still the best looking domain expansions I've personally seen on Roblox. But the movement is fun to use and play around with, and it's something unique for once. Oh my god, it's something unique. Exhibit C. Is Jujutsu Infinite pay to win? Well, for the most part, I would say kinda not. We already know special grades are like the best of the best when it comes to PvE and PvP, so there's no denying that, and despite there being codes, those won't be here forever, and they sure as hell won't be given out as frequently as they were during the release period. And they have already gotten less generous with some of the new codes, only giving like 25 spins or 100 spins, which we know this game's horrible rates will provide you with basically nothing at all but a comment. Another thing I've noticed is that the heavenly restriction kind of sucks now for its price, because it's pretty much only usable for PvP, which is unfortunate. It's good for PvP, don't get me wrong, but the one thing that does kind of make the game pay to win, or I might say pay to enjoy, is the item notifier, which is 2,700 Robux, which outright must be good for that amount. Basically, it informs you with the spawn areas of some of the rarest items in the game, which indeed is pay to win, because domain shards are extremely hard to get naturally, and some people don't even get one while trying to reach max level. Maximum scrolls are the same way, but I got pretty lucky because you know I'm just that guy. Cursed weapons are the best weapons in the game, so that's self-explanatory, and demon fingers are used to get some of the rarest items in the game via the exchange system, making this the most pay-to-win game pass in the game, since it bypasses the worst part of the game, which is obtaining these items normally. Not to mention, domain shards can't even be used to your level 420, meaning you won't be able to use it until the end game, which is non-existent due to the lack of content the game currently has. You're just gonna be beating up bosses for crafting. Maximum scrolls can be used at 360, but by the time you get it, you are pretty much done with progression, and unfortunately, greedy move from the developers to put this blatantly pay-to-win game pass in the game. But hey, what can you expect from developers nowadays on Roblox? I'm not even surprised. Exhibit D, the unfortunate reality of Jujutsu Infinite. Unfortunately, we had to wait years for this game, and if you were a tester, your input most likely was ignored, and the game during testing honestly was much more bearable and enjoyable to play, because not only was the leveling faster, but the actual AI wasn't complete ass. And it's crazy that this game came from the same developers of both Titan Warfare, which was arguably one of the greatest AOT games I've ever personally played, and Neo Soccer League, which was a really good quality blue lock game. Both of these games died or 6 feet under because of Jujutsu Infinite, and the reason I feel the developers made this game was because it was the easiest way to make the most amount of money. I mean, they made $1 million a year ago before the game was even close to release, so the amount of money this game generated is not even close to their previous games. And this is more of a Roblox problem than anything else, because their other games, to be honest, would have never reached the same highs as Jujutsu Infinite in terms of player count. There's also false bans due to the poor anti-cheat in this game that needs to be fixed immediately, because people aren't even able to be restored either, despite the actual hackers not being banned at all. Just a complete and utter waste of potential, because I, and the lead developer of Jujutsu Infinite, knows this game could have been so much better than it is right now, because it's not even bad. Like, the game's actually decent. Jujutsu Shenanigans is still my personal favorite JJK game. Yeah, I'm glazing the game. Shut your stupid. But JJI is probably the highest quality JJK game we've gotten on the platform, clearly, despite its glaring issues. And the other JJK RPGs are just absolutely horrible, like Jujutsu Chronicles, or a scam like Grand Kaisen. And even outside of Roblox, JJK has been getting some absolutely horrible games. So what comp does Jujutsu Infinite have, honestly? But as I say in every video, if you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.